Felix Gonzalez. What happened? Why did I enter recovery? So first of all, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to have this opportunity to speak. So I'm a person that I'm in recovery. However, I'm not a recovering addict. I'm in recovery because for a good portion of my life, I vicariously lived through my older brother's addiction. I'm the youngest of five. I have two older sisters and two older brothers. My oldest brother, he was my hero, and he was filled with all the talent in my family. We all followed behind him. He was an athlete. He was a scholar. He was a writer, a musician. And there came a time in my brother's life where he fell ill to, to a lot of social issues, and eventually wound up being addicted to heroin. So when this happened, this catapulted our family into a different space, and it put me in a different place. And one day, I was speaking to someone who had a family member who was an alcoholic, and they used to go to Alcoholics Anonymous with their family member as a support. And there came a time when that person who was being the support had to get support themselves. And I realized that, you know what? Um, this is something that's affecting me to the point where I have to start thinking about self-care, and I have to find some type of therapy um, to deal with some of the anxieties and some of the fears that I had about, what could be the outcome for my brother. And recovery for me started there when I realized that there was a space for family um, to participate in a person's addiction, journey, recovery. And I became part of that. I became part of that space. And it's now that, I consider myself in recovery, although I don't have an addiction, but a recovery from the late nights, the fears, the knocks on the doors, the calls in the middle of the night, um, times that I saw my brother, heroin sick, being dope sick, right? Um, Needing to get straight. Like those things, I didn't think that they really affected me as much as they did until I started walking that journey of recovery. So I speak this and I share this today because I know there are a lot of family members and a lot of loved ones of those that are addicted that have probably felt or experienced some of these feelings, on some of these emotions that I may share today. Um, it was a long battle. It was it was a lot of fighting amongst family behind this, because certain people had different approaches. Some people believed in tough love, like turn your back completely, and some people were caretakers. Some people were codependents, right? Made it easier for my brother to participate in his addiction and continue, right? And I mentioned briefly that my father, may he rest in peace, was one that would, uh, he'd give my brother money because he wouldn't want to see my brother under those conditions, or he wouldn't want my brother to go out and do something that would get him in further trouble, so that he can feed his addiction. And then we had other folks in my family who felt that that was just enabling him, right? And through it all, I watched it, and it was heartfelt for me. It was a growth for me, but it was also I also realized that at some point I had to myself get into recovery from the traumas of watching a loved one face an addiction, the highs and the lows, the sobriety, being at his very lowest, and also finding his way back at times. And you know, it's not easy. It's a it's a tough journey for families. And so, my recovery continues. And, unfortunately, um, my brother's not here with us anymore, but my recovery continues.